Hey guys, welcome back to the Kampai Sugai podcast. My name is Gavin. If I sound different today, I'm sorry. Okay, it's not my fault. It's just nature doing its thing, like always. But you know, I'm very honored to be here with someone who's I've been willing to have you on the show, and it's good that you're finally here.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry that my voice is not working properly, but we're still gonna have a lot of fun, and we're still gonna be able to talk about a lot of stuff. So, without further ado, guys, please give a warm welcome to Miss Teen American Scholar 2022, Aolani Silva.
Hi, aloha, everybody. I want to thank you so much for pushing through, not feeling like under the weather, and still the show goes on.
Of course.
Everybody, he is a real professional. The show goes on for you guys, so just know that he is dedicated.
Well,
and
thank you.
I'm honored to be on your show. Thank you for taking me and letting me talk story with you today.
Of course. I mean, yeah, as a performer, you probably have to deal with stuff like that as well. Like even if like Miss Hawaii, like anything that has to do with Miss Hawaii or pageantry, you probably have to like, even if you're sick or like something's going on, you just kind of have to fake it till you make it. Totally.
It's like almost a lot of the times I'm not 100% ready, and it's a lot of it is like kind of faking till you make it. So like talking yourself up, like, you know what, you just need to go and do it, and then you get over it, and then you get excited, and then the passion, which allows you to like enjoy it, kicks in. So that for me helps me get over it and have a good time.
Yeah. And I think like the initial part of like performance wise, because like you're a singer yourself, so like it's just getting after that initial hurdle, like maybe just saying the first word, or like pageantry, just getting up on stage, like just getting past that first hurdle. It's like that's the hardest part, because once you get into it, then it's like your brain kind of goes into autopilot.
It's here now, totally. Yeah. It's like you kind of block out the world, and your heart. For me, I want to now put my best energy into performing and being the best entertainer that I can be, and put the most effort into my voice as I can while on stage. And it is kind of like time slows down, and it's a weird, you're there, you're present, you can see faces and perform, but it's not like time slows down.
Yeah, I hear you. I used to do theater. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I used to do theater when I was younger.
Cool.
And I had some embarrassing parts where like I would forget a line, and then I would like literally whisper backstage like, what's my line again? But like no filter, like like no shame or anything. I just did it, and then I go back out, and then I say my line. But yeah, same thing. It's just like I just gotta keep going. But my brain would go on autopilot, and then after the show, I would forget the whole entire thing. Like I don't even know what I just did.
I really relate to that. I tend to like have to come down from this adrenaline after, and it doesn't really hit me what I just did. And sometimes like I will get like my mom coming and congratulating me, but it's like, okay, wait, and I have to like decompress from what just happened to really understand and like appreciate the moment. But after, when it's happening, it is kind of like this face you put on, and that kind of just
it shifts.
Totally.
Yeah. What got you into pageantry?
So it's one of my COVID hobbies that I picked up. So other than pageantry, I also started raising chickens.
Oh wow. Okay.
So living in the Waianae like Valley homestead, it gave me the freedom to have land and have like chickens. So I wouldn't have had this if I was living in Mililani, which I was raised in Mililani.
Oh, okay.
And I just started getting into self-sustainability because I was seeing firsthand how the shutdown affected the community in Waianae, seeing how long the food drive lines were. It hurt my heart knowing that we couldn't provide for ourselves as an island if the ships stopped coming in, there were like scary things happening, saying that we wouldn't have food, and then the toilet paper crisis.
Yeah.
And so it was
That was
like
bad.
it was bad. Everybody was going haywire for toilet paper. I really found how important it is to be self-sustainable, and part of that, my mom was doing keto too, so I was like, eggs would be perfect for that. And I also like just love animals, so having chickens, I like kind of just jumped on that.
Yeah.
And then I bought them for my birthday and didn't tell my parents about it. Told them, hey, I have chickens I'd like you to pick up. And
your mom's like, oh gosh.
Yes, we didn't have a coop for them or anything.
Wow.
I kind of like asked my dad, oh, since we have these, I think we need a place for them to sleep. And he totally like just jumped in, and he built a chicken coop. And that's amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
After I did that, I was like, I guess, you know what? I'm going to go back a little bit.
Okay.
I used to have a show every Saturday at the Ala Moana Shirakia Village Walk. So it was the Aolani International show, and I would sing from Saturdays to like 6 to 7.
Okay.
And that was from age 14 till
wow,
the
it's a
shutdown.
prime time slot.
It was so fun, and I really wish I took it more, like appreciated it more. I couldn't feel it because I was in high school. And I would go to school, and I'd do that on the weekends. After the shutdown, and there was like, it was hard for singers to come out and perform. That venue it really hit us hard. It hit the world hard, but not being able to have those places to sing and perform really
it affected
shaped the entertainment community here, and it is already very small. So I found myself wanting to grow and see how I can keep growing as a woman, especially with being in homeschooling, because I was also homeschooled.
Right.
So I wanted to make friends and still grow, and I just was like, hey, I'm going to jump into this pageant that my uncles were putting on. It was my first pageant was the Miss Hawaii Volunteer pageant by the Pageant Papas.
Interesting. Pageant Papas.
Uncle Larry.
Oh, they're affiliated with Cherry Blossom Festival.
Yes.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
They're amazing.
Right.
And I knew them from my singing teacher, Craig Shimizu. He's the first singing teacher I had since the age of 7. They also go to him, and they were like, hey, you should try this. And I finally said yes. I'd give it a go. It was an inaugural pageant.
Okay.
It was the first one here in Hawaii. This system, the volunteer pageant, has been running for a long time in the mainland, and it's pretty established. And I was like, okay, I'll go. It was my first time. I had no experience, but I thought it would be fine because I've performed before.
Right.
But it was totally different. It shook me up. I give pageant girls so much more credit than I did before. It is tough. It is a lot harder than it looks. And it really showed me how I want to grow.
Yeah.
Becoming more poised. And being able to really be grounded in who I am to better share my passions with the world and connect with people. So that's what I got into pageants for. Connecting with people and wanting to grow and continue making friends, because I was homeschooled and it was pretty isolating. Yeah. With the shutdown on top of that. So, and then I ended up winning runner-up for that one. But I got like a pageant bug. So I kind of butchered the interview. Oh, okay. I'd say, well, it wasn't up to the expectation that I thought I would have when I did it. So I was like, I need to do something else, and I found the American Scholar pageant from Instagram ads, and Augie T and Aolani, his daughters, they post about it.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen like posters around the island for it as well. And I said I'd go for it. They had a scholarship opportunity, and I was like, oh, I'll go for that as well. And I ended up winning that. I submitted recommendation letters and wrote essays, and I won the Brave Award, and that's what helped me push into that side. I'm still fairly like figuring out that world because it is pretty new, but it's been an honor to be able to be like something I looked up to as a little girl. Yeah. I never thought that I would be one of the pretty ladies sitting on the cars in parades. It is really a treat.
With the crowns and everything.
The crowns and everything.
This is my crown. I got my hat. So.
Yes, and it looks fabulous.
Oh, thank you so much. I was gonna bedazzle it, put some diamonds and stuff.
Oh, we could do that.
I'm just joking. I'm not gonna do that. So how was it like transitioning? Because like you were saying, you're homeschooled, right? And
Yes.
it's a different environment. Like my wife is homeschooled her whole life. So
Wow.
just that transition of like public speaking to like, because you're a singer, but then you already have your lyrics and everything, and you're it's a different type of performance.
Yes.
Right, for pageantry. So how was that transition for you?
So, the pageant that I had for the Miss American Scholar system, we actually didn't have a talent section.
Oh, okay.
And in a way, that motivated me to really hone in my interview skills.
Yeah.
Because that's what I struggled with and hit me up the head for the first pageant. And I realized that's what I wanted to work on. So I didn't have to do talent for the American Scholar pageant. And just being able to...
Do you remember the question? Do you remember the question?
I forgot. I think I just said the same
blacked
thing. I was like, I already said this.
So like I can imagine the interview portion, because how long do you guys have for like a time limit for that?
So the Miss American Scholar pageant, we had 5 minutes in front of
It's fast.
5 different judges.
Really?
So we would sit, we called it Red Robin style, I believe. That might be wrong, but we would have a one-on-one interview. I actually...
for 5 different people.
5
Same
different
question.
people. Different, whatever they...
different
They
question.
had a bio that we
Well, that's
had.
scary.
So whatever they had, kind of like how we have a conversation like this, and you know some things about me, and you lead a conversation. It's however we interact. That one is a little intimidating, you know, because you never know what's going to be thrown at you. And I really loved it, though. I really loved being able to learn how to work and learn about myself. The difference between like the speaking for the last question, entertaining, was that I ended up being kind of like in control of the show. So when I would have an international show or be hosting, I'm the one asking to everyone else how they're doing. I've never really dug deep into my heart and really let it out with the world. It's always kind of guarded because there's like a certain like persona that is there to be there for others with entertaining. My goal is to help others enjoy their time. I'm honored that they would stop and watch my like a show if I'm singing. To me, that's very valuable to be able to stop someone and them pay me with their time.
Yeah.
It's huge. And I love that transaction, that like when you
the interaction with
to be able
audiences
to
and stuff.
stop a stranger and fill them up with your like talent and just giving a smile out to someone. That's what helps me keep going in this like
it's
industry.
humbling. Yeah.
It's so humbling. And I wouldn't really talk about myself on my shows. It's like, how are you guys doing? I would do gimme gimmes, have people come. But I wasn't asking about myself. When I was
you're MC now.
when I was like asked questions, I found myself literally like unable to speak. I didn't ever really talk about myself. So I had a hard time understanding what did Aolani think about this thing. Yeah, so that's what I found that I wanted to grow and
Interesting.
mature with.
Kind of the same thing like for the podcast too, like you know, like even starting this, I remember starting it in 2018 and my wife and I was that was like my first guest. But honestly, it was just my wife and I talking story.
Love it.
But then I had another guest on, which was my friend, but then we had to think of things that we were like opinions and beliefs we thought of and how we could convey that, right? Because like for myself, I am a Christian, but like my viewpoint kind of changed a little bit over time. I still consider myself a Christian, but like even my friend Stone, who was my shout out Stone, we just have like a different mindset or different perspective over time, and
Totally.
it's interesting because I never had that opportunity to do that.
Mm.
Usually, I'm same thing. I'm just like, "How are you guys doing?" You know what I mean? Like, or I'm more like the listener rather than the actual speaker.
I really relate to that. It's difficult to really get to know yourself and feel comfortable sharing that with people. Because it feels like it's like you're putting yourself out there, and it's pretty like, yeah, it's really intimate, and it's hard to overcome that for someone who hasn't done
Yeah.
that. I also tend to be there for others, and I like that role. I've gotten used to it, and I haven't really dug into, hey, what do I really want, or what do I really think about things? Because it's easy for me to be there for others. I was neglecting myself throughout that process. So that's kind of hard to talk about, like getting to that. It's like self-therapy. I think even talking out loud and doing podcasts like this, and I'm learning to share my experiences, even if they're not perfect, because I don't want to mislead people to think that that everything is perfect, and it isn't true. And if everybody normalizes and shares that, because social media is like, it's a lot. Everybody looks like they're living these very fun, exciting lives and super successful, but it's very curated. It's really the top tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, that could all be in one day, and then the rest of the week is just junk or something, or just very bland. You know what I mean? So it's very superficial.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I have stuff like this, like my podcast.
Yes, and like listening to your podcast, I've been able to like hear other people's experiences, and that has helped me understand and guide me with my thoughts and help me feel like not alone. To hear other people have been through things.
Yeah.
That's why I love your podcast, and I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's I want to talk about this. So like so for yourself, you're Japanese Portuguese mix.
Yes.
Welsh. I just learned about this. And Hawaiian.
Vikings. Yes.
How does that incorporate into like your singing and all your other careers and even in pageantry?
I am very passionate about cultures, and I've been blessed with a wonderful mixed background, which has allowed me to be open to and be curious to ask and learn and want to like just living in Hawaii, the melting pot of cultures we have here, it's automatic that like already our everyday things. We take off our slippers, and having spam musubis and pigeon is like this like
it's like another language, but it's embedded.
I have started singing Japanese. That's kind of actually what like catapulted me into singing. At 7 years old, I started singing lessons with Craig Shimizu. Shout out to the singing sensei, Craig. Check him out for some wonderful vocal lessons. He has been with me since I started. And he specialized in enka, which is a traditional style of Japanese singing.
Oh, okay.
Which my mom grew up listening to, because my Auntie Leslie, shout out to you too, Auntie, she grew up singing enka.
Okay.
And my family, like my mom's side of the family, grew up with her singing Japanese songs around the house, participating in KZOO, and I think it was called something else, but there was another karaoke contest that was pretty popular, I believe, and she was in those things. I was like, oh, okay. So my mom shared some enka songs that she grew up listening to, and I was like, oh, maybe you could try this. And I don't know how it happened. I just like gravitated to it, and it was very enticing. Like I loved it. I just started singing enka all the time.
Wow.
For a lot of my childhood, I was like kind of known as
Inca girl.
the Inca girl, and it wasn't just like Japanese J-pop. It was like traditional, like
Yeah.
your grandma's Japanese music. Full kimono is the only way to go sometimes, and it's like these songs are a lot more mature and like
Yeah, the stuff you see on like Channel 9.
yes.
Yeah. My grandma was the same thing. She would watch that all day.
So I started really singing Japanese, and I'm blessed that my family was so supportive in encouraging culture in our house. And I want to encourage so many people, not even my peers, even older people. It's never too late to get involved in your community and learn something about your background. It has helped me feel more grounded in who I am as a person. Learning like their values and understanding that, hey, that's something that I have, and find a community of people that are like you. It's really, it's
pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Totally agree, because like I was on, shout out to Chachi. She has a podcast called Kasamahanko, which is basically colleague. That's what it means in Ilocano. I want to say Ilocano. Yeah, it's in Ilocano, and I'm half Filipino, so like talking about that side and like being part of that community, it's like, oh, like growing up, I just more identified myself as Japanese. So like Japanese first, then Filipino. So like I would hang around the Asian kids in high school and stuff like that. Like, hey, that's my like the soccer kids. That's all the soccer kids. For some reason at Kailo High School were Asian, and I would just hang around them. But as I got older, I really got into like cooking and stuff like that, and also now I do Kali Eskrima, which is a Filipino martial arts.
Cool.
So like now it's equal Japanese Filipino. I'm not really like just saying I'm Japanese first and hanging out with just the Japanese guys or the Asian guys. I'm hanging out with my Filipino friends as well, right? And really diving into that, doing more karaoke. That's what I do more. So like just diving into that culture and that community. I totally understand what you're saying.
And I love you sharing this, because we were talking a little bit before that we found out that you are, I believe, 1% African American. The DNA test doesn't lie, folks. And you know what? It's funny, people use it as, I think, like, I experienced the same, like, inner judgment with being, like, Hawaiian, too.
Oh, okay.
So, like, you tend to, like, whatever you look like, I guess, the most, you, like, oh, I am the most this thing. And then, but you're never enough to fit into this other group. And it always, for me, I kind of personalize that as, like, well, I am Hawaiian, but I'm not enough. But that shouldn't be true, and it's not. You are your cultures, and even if it's that 1%, go and just embrace it and love it and learn about it. I mean, the worst you can do is like just not like pick anything up. I mean, I tend to also just get into, it's just fun to learn. I enjoy just having different things to just add to my life, because it adds more spice. Different ways to look at things and morals, values. It's fun to share. It just helps me connect with other people too, to see everyone as equally just humans, really. And it's easy to like just sometimes, I know, like the race thing, like you said, you would just end up hanging out with like mostly the Asian kids. In Hawaii, I had a friend who moved here from Virginia, somewhere in the mainland, and she said that it was so different when she first came to our high school.
Okay.
Everybody was just hanging out with each other. And I was like, well, yeah, it's school. She said, well, I don't know how to explain this, but like it was different at my school. They would have like Indian kids, or what people would think look like Indian kids. It doesn't matter even if you were or not. If you look like it, you would end up just staying in this clique. And she was so like refreshed to see everybody just like treating each other the same, and we don't have the same like I see your race first and then the person you are.
They see the skin color and then they go like they basically place people in categories. In other words, that makes sense.
And by like thinking you're more of one race than the other, it made me think that I didn't deserve to like get in and learn more of my other culture's things because I was more of this, so why should I? But when you are it, you should just learn and just have an open heart and mind, because as long as you're going in with love and appreciation for it, there's nothing that can go wrong in my mind. Like, it's just all good vibes.
Yeah, totally. Like for me, like in high school, even though I hung out with like the Asian kids, like I don't want to categorize them, but like there was like the back gym kids, which people said they were the emo kids, which they just dressed in all black. That's fine. You know what I mean? But like, there's different categories still. And I think even in high school still, they have that. It's just natural, I think.
Yes. It's like part of the maturity is growing up and realizing that we're all not that different.
Yeah.
And that like this is a popular group. Like, it's all like, everybody's trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
And once you learn that and really accept that, just focus on your journey and be as empathetic and loving and gracious to people and give them room to grow so they would give you room to grow. Like, I would hope like everybody would continue to be like that. Because I definitely did feel like the cliques are strong. And for me, actually, middle school was pretty hard.
Oh, really?
Like, that was pretty restrictive. And towards the high school phase, I think, also my school was pretty big. I was going to Aolani High School for the first half of my high school year until like a little bit of the middle of sophomore year.
Okay.
Then I pulled out and ended up homeschooling. So I then started with a Christian Education Institute, which is a co-ed program for homeschoolers in Hawaii. They basically allow us to have more of a normal experience graduating. So we'd get to walk with a cap and gown after we finished our credits. Sometimes without things like that, if a homeschooler would graduate or get their credits, essentially, they're just like, oh, I guess I'm done. Which is, it's nice to have a community of other people to support and be like, oh, hey, we're doing this, and we would be able to do our SATs together.
Yeah.
And that was fun.
Nice. Did you guys do co-ops as well? And then for people that don't know what co-ops are, it's basically like little hui's or groups where it's just they're all homeschool kids, but they come together and then they do a class or something, lab or something like that.
So because I was doing it a little bit before COVID, I ended up not jumping in to a co-ed exactly. But when we did do our SATs together, there would be a family that would like have a place. We would meet at, I think, a certain church, because that was just open, and like they were down to let us use the room, and they would, some of our parents would be the ones that would like sit down with us and have us go through the thing, and we do it as a group instead of having to go to a separate place by yourself.
Interesting. Okay.
Kind of felt in that moment like a little bit of a classroom setting, which is nice. And
Yeah.
that was good. But I didn't end up doing like the co-ed homeschooling classes where you would have like the schooling together. My cousins did that.
Okay.
And I just ended up not doing it because I was focusing on also singing. So it was allowing me to be more flexible with taking opportunities, whether for entertainment purposes, and I really liked the flexibility of that.
Yeah, like 1,000 other things you were doing. So
I tend to jump around a lot. I like to get interested. I get interested in different things, and that keeps me like my creative mind flowing.
Yeah, same here. I do. I try to jump into different things. I know my main lane is I'm an accountant for day.
Oh,
just to get paid.
That's
right?
cool.
Which is good because I don't have to talk that much. But then when I have to talk as much, as it's all podcasting at that point. So and then there's other stuff too. But Kelsey and I will get into that later. We'll talk about that later. But that's great. Yeah, and I want to talk about one of your things, which is singing.
Yes.
Because you're really big on singing. You actually just came out with your new single, Tides. Right? You want to talk about that?
Sure, I would love to. This song is the first song that I have let myself share. I've been writing, I guess. I didn't really know it was songwriting when I was like 14, but I was like, oh, I can't share this. I feel like Dr. Seuss. Like it felt like not like a real song. And finally, I was going through some like relationships, like friendships that were like really kind of weighing me down and hurting my heart. I was being let down, and I really got like my back stabbed a couple of times, and we were already in COVID, and it was a lot. I always share like the song sounds very happy tides. It's like a reggae upbeat vibe, which I wanted it to be motivating, but I wrote it crying on the floor in my bathroom.
Wow.
Like it came from a very hurt place, and I needed to write that to get over and move on, because I found myself stuck in the hurt. And it wasn't, I needed to, it was like a therapy session, me writing that off. It was like on my notes on my phone, crying, and just like I had to let it go.
In the bathroom?
In the bathroom specifically. Because we were at home, just to make it that more extra angst for you guys. It really was, it looked like that, and it came straight from my heart, and I want to encourage anyone who's going through a tough time to know that it is a season. And in the moment, they sure don't feel like a season. It feels like it's forever, and it's like the worst thing ever. And I felt like that too. But if you can find a way to reach out to family, trusted family and friends, and or even just whatever your means of like counseling is, whether it's for me songwriting now and creating music, or trying new things like balloon twisting, which is another thing I got into.
Really?
Yes. Balloon animals, which I highly recommend. Find those things and really know that, don't let it drag you down, because it will never, times feel low, but you are so like valued, and everybody has a purpose in this life. Everybody has something to share that no one else can provide. I think every single human is so gifted and has so much to share with the world. And don't ever feel like you're not enough and that's forever. Because I was really stuck. And one of the lines is sick of being stagnant. Because it's like not good for the soul. It's not good for your mental health.
Yeah.
Even your physical health. It all is connected. So I wanted to move on with the motion of the ocean. Let it go. Water off a duck's back. Things are tough, but know that it doesn't define you, and to keep growing and to just prevail.
Yeah, right.
It's hard when you're in it, though. And that's where it came from. So I want it to sound peppy, though, because it's kind of like the dynamics of like, just keep going.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more motivational, like hopeful. But that's crazy because it comes from a deep pain.
It really did.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's good that you're able to express yourself, though, because because you could also feel stagnant if you're not expressing yourself as well. So if you're not even, I imagine like you didn't talk about that, through your music, then then you kind of feel even more stuck, right?
Yes.
But because you're able to release it and then show people, like, it's more of an upbeat song, but you're able to get that expression out there. And people can see that vulnerability, right? Even though it's a reggae beat, but they'll see that vulnerability and they go, wow, you know what? Yeah, I got to keep moving forward. You know what I mean?
I wanted to create like island music too that is motivational and has also like a view from a girl. There's not very many, for one, girl island music singers here in Hawaii. And me being in that stage, I just wanted to reach people in Hawaii too, because we tend to like the world is so big in Hawaii. Like, I've just wanted to reach out to anybody listen, because it is popular here too. Like that genre, it's easy to like listen on the ears, and it's like, oh, I recognize this. So I still want you to skank to it. I still want you to have a good old fun time, but I wanted it to be like you can have fun knowing that you will get through things like it's like you can dance in the rain. And you can, like, it sucks, but if you can just know that life is like this sometimes, it's not forever. Keep moving.
Yeah, definitely. And how about when you perform now? Because have you performed that song as well?
I've been able to perform it around like Pro Ridge.
Okay.
I shared that at
nice.
we had a safety fair. I was there with my pageant sisters, the Miss American Scholars, my pageant sisters, and I sang it there. And I was also able to share it in Waianae when we had a Christmas parade for 2022. I sang that on a car that we were renting as a like warm up.
Oh, okay.
And I ended up singing Christmas songs for the parade, but that was just for the warm up in the parking lot. So we just had other booths and floats next to us, getting ready to go and walk down the road. When I sang that just for sound check, people were gathering around the car, and it really touched my heart because after there were ladies and people coming up sharing that it touched them because they were going through things in their life and they needed to hear that message to give them strength to continue and know that it's not forever, because it's easy to feel like and like really dwell on things. That's what like the stagnant part for me was huge. And I had some ladies come up and like they're crying and telling me how that message really touched their hearts, and that made it so much like
more impactful.
It was that's why I wrote it, and to see it in fruition, to see someone positively affected by it so quickly, it was like, this is why I want to keep writing. And I find myself communicating better through my music. I tend to get tripped up by like my own speech for a long time, and I'm working on that. That's why the interview part like got me interested with the pageants, because I realized this is something that I want to grow on. I've never felt so like Aolani, true to who I am, before like writing. Once I started writing and using music and combining like melodies to get out my feelings, and it doesn't necessarily come out as like a therapy session, it just, I don't know, it just happens. It's a really incredible experience, and I find myself communicating better through songs than in like just talking. So like now I'm like, I wish I could say this, and you know how people make songs for people what they wish they could say. I'm doing that for myself in a weird way. and I want to like still be a voice for others.
Have you danced hula to it? Because I know you know how to dance hula.
Not yet. I haven't danced hula to Tides, but I have been dancing hula since the age of 5 at the Kanani Olivera Wahiwa Hula Studio. So shout out to Kumu Kanani. I love you so much. She is one of my biggest mentors. She has been like an amazing, positive role model in my life from the beginning. I started hula before singing, but I just loved the way she was a leader in encouraging other young girls to dance, and also she's just so kind and strong. And I love Kumu Kanani. I love her so much. And yeah.
Did you dance hula when you did the Aolani International show as well?
Yes. Well, I would do a mix of different genres.
Oh, okay.
So I call it the international show because I would like to sing Japanese, Hawaiian. I even had a Korean song in there.
Wow.
And I love cultures. So going back to my passion of sharing my heritage and encouraging others to do so, that really helped me for that show. I called it international show because you never know what language I'm going to sing next. And I loved being able to have them all come together and play in one place, because at the end of the day, it's all music, and music is an international language. Music and food.
That's
Yes.
true. Very true. Yeah, food's very international. I just had Kevin Aoki, who is he's owner of Doraku Sushi, and then
Yum!
owner of 1938 in Toshin. So shout out to Kevin. He was on the show, but his family's motto was, you make great friends by eating good food.
Yes.
So same thing. Food is very international, but it brings communities together.
And I would sing. Right now I'm into Turkish.
Oh,
So like I've been listening to
interesting.
Turkish music. Yes, I definitely jump around. I'm not Turkish as far as I know, but
That's cool. That's really cool, though.
I'd love to share that, and just even picked up a Chinese song. I was able to travel to Chengdu, China 2 times, part of the Brown Bags to Stardom All-Star team for a
Wow.
children's music festival. I can't believe it either now. Like, so much has happened since 2019 was the last time I went, and then I went in 2018.
Wow.
And it was such a humbling experience to be able to travel and represent Hawaii and the U.S. in communist China,
Yeah.
Chengdu, China. So I was able to sing Hale Bahula by Amy Hanai-Li'i, one of my favorite songs to sing. And we had our team, we had hula dancers, and sharing our culture in China was such a huge, just like one of the biggest accomplishments for me to be able to share that and see people listen to our music and enjoy it and love it. They don't speak the same language, but you feel the music and you just can enjoy it and watch the show and love the culture.
Yeah, music is very, like, I think people that don't even understand certain words too, they just cling on to it somehow. Maybe it's the emotion from the words being sung, or something with the way the song is fluctuating, you know what I mean? Like, if it's really fast, it's like, oh yeah, upbeat, yeah, they totally get it. Or if it's
vibe.
very flowy, it's like, oh, okay, it's a very whimsical kind of song. But they understand it somehow, even if they don't understand the words.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. You guys all went as a group to China.
Yes.
That's crazy.
2 times.
Man.
And it helped me it was a huge honor to be able to just share our culture with China, and they really treated us really amazingly. Like I felt like a pop star.
Oh.
Like they gave us little like name things, but it was also kind of funny because then you'd have these little reminders that you're not in America.
Right.
It is communist. So one of the things that our tour guide would share is, okay, don't lose your name tag, because if you do, we won't be able to buy you back.
Oh.
What?
Interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
buy us back, and we had our tour guides, but we wouldn't stray away. Like, we're not allowed to you can't just walk off and like, oh, look at this path. You just don't do that. And
Yeah,
that,
because you never know. You're already in a third world country, so
Yes.
it's different.
being able to see it, like, we are very privileged here in Hawaii, and even in America too. I had to really realign and be thankful for what I have and the life that I have.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to talk about the KZOO Radio Champion, or the competition, KZOO Radio AM 1210 championship, because in 2014 you became the overall champion, but you're also the youngest grand champion as well. So
Yes.
how did you get involved with that competition?
So naturally, as I sang Japanese enka songs, it only felt right to do a Japanese singing competition.
Right.
And the only one the main one that has been going on for years was the KZOO karaoke contest. and my singing teacher had students who have already like been winners. So I Torao, Hikariyama Torao, Tevita. He's like my big brother and singing Enka buddy. Like he's always been so supportive and he's incredible too. He is a grand champion of KZOO as well as like Auntie Amy. They're both students of Craig Shimizu. So a lot of the students who would sing Japanese, he would encourage them to enter this competition.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so I just like, okay, I'll go. I would give it a go. The first time I went, I sang Abare Daiko, which is a song about the mature themes are like Enka songs are very long usually. Like they could go for 8 minutes.
Yeah, they are long.
They need to get to the beginning and end of their story. And this theme was actually about like a man who is frustrated with like feelings and not really knowing how to maybe express them because Japanese culture, you are strong man and we really culturally a lot of people keep things in and don't really talk about it. Very stoic, and you have to figure out how to deal with things yourself. And it was singing about how this guy maybe was going through like emotional problems and relationship things, and he would beat out his frustrations on a taiko drum.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
So very like that meaning, and this little 9-year-old girl comes up in a like dress and just sings it, and I give it my best shot. And the first time I did it 2 times. I won first place for the youth, like the kids division. So I was like, what? That's crazy. And I was like, I'm going to do it again because it's also cool to have an outlet to sing Japanese music. There's not very many places that, you listen to Japanese Enka music or have that. So I was like, I'm singing Japanese songs. It makes sense for me to want to go and share it here, and everybody else is doing that. Tried it again, and then I ended up placing for the overall grand champion. And like it was surreal, like because then we were given a round trip to Japan to continue on another competition called like the NAK, and that was basically a singing competition with like the best of the best Japanese singers in Japan of like
scary
Japanese masters and singers of Enka. Like this is their language. And I was like, whoa! Like I don't think I really understood and wrapped my mind around it, like because I was like 9, 10. Throughout that,
you're just like, I'm going to Japan.
I'm going to Japan. I was like, Japan, yes. At the time, I loved squishies, which are like these like foam toys. I was so excited because I was like, I can get so many squishies, and I'm gonna bring them back to school. And I have a ton of those. Like, I don't think I was really aware of how big of an opportunity of a moment it was. And I'm really thankful for it, though. Auntie Robin, she is she was our tour guide, and she was the sweetest up there. She allowed me to get connected with a radio station. So I met with a Japanese radio station, and they interviewed me. So that was my first like radio interview ever in Japan. And we talked about like singing up there as well, and it was incredible. And I really appreciate KZOO for giving Hawaii people a platform to have that. And like it's such a local nostalgic thing too. Like I'm kind of sad Shirkia is not there anymore, because it's like a hub for
we're hoping that it comes to Kaneohe instead.
Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, luckily there's like Sticks Waikiki, but still, Shirkia was something special about over there. You know what I mean? Especially at Alamoana. So
yes,
that was like one of the main reasons why I would go to Alamoana. Honestly,
me too. There's so many food, and I loved the way it was laid out, and there was like such a variety, and it was all right there.
Yeah, and I knew a lot of the vendors too.
That's so Oh,
So
I miss there was an amazing toast place and they had the crepes. Oh, the crepes were so good.
yeah. My friend, shout out to Jessica. She had a lemonade shop called Lemon Supply.
Oh my goodness, I loved that shop. I would go there so many times after like my performances, and I would want to like collect. They had these like collectors
Yeah.
can covers. My favorite thing was like this blue dream drink that they had.
Yeah. Oh, what was it called? I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
Like I was like, it's blue, I want it. Whatever it is, that looks amazing.
That was great because like I would hang out at her shop, you know, like maybe I would go to school. I was at college at the time. I would go to college and then go hang out and just chill.
Maybe I've seen you.
You probably maybe you did. But yeah, I still talk to Jessica pretty often. So luckily, the Lemon Supply drinks are continuing at Scratch Kitchen.
Oh, good. That's good to know. Check it out, everybody.
Scratch Kitchen. They have a lemon supply at I don't know if I should promote this. Lemon Supply in South Shore Market. So they opened up a store again over there.
I'm gonna definitely go check it out now.
But yeah, I still haven't gone to the new shop, but yeah, it's it's good. It's good remembering all that. And then but like in back of that there was a udon place. I would go pretty often. And I would get the Niku udon, and then oh man, that was so good.
They had the bowls too that you could have like these hot pots brought to your table.
Oh yeah.
They'd have like this personal grill, and they would like heat it up, and you can control it, and it's just one like for you. And they had like a time where they had the dragon's breath cereal thing, so everybody was going to try the super cold treats, and you have like smoke come out of your mouth. The udon place, I would go there just for their ramen eggs. I had like a huge thing for the, like the egg that's like soaked in, I guess like mirin and shoyu. Those were so delicious, and I always craved that, and I would go and order like 4 of those from the ramen shops and the udon shops there.
Just the egg.
Just the egg.
Oh man. My goodness.
I loved it. It was amazing.
It's actually pretty easy to bake.
I tried.
Ramen, yeah, because we've made it before. It was super easy.
I had to figure out the science behind like why it wasn't the fully cooked yolk, and I had to find the perfect setting of like this like runny but like cooked middle, and then the mixture of like the sugar and the shoyu. Yeah, super yummy.
My a little bit of insight for hard-boiled eggs. So the way I gauge it is I boil the water first, and then 6 minutes is soft boiled. So like it'll be fully cooked in the inside, but then it's really runny in the middle. And then 8 minutes is it's slightly runny, and then 10 minutes is it's fully hard-boiled egg.
Okay.
So that's how I gauge it.
That's good. I'm gonna use that.
And I've always went by that rule because I've timed it as well. So literally 6 minutes, I call it. It's like, oh wow, perfect. And it's always been the same consistently. And then 8 minutes, I get that same consistency like I was looking for, like slightly runny but a little bit hard in the middle. And then 10 minutes hard boiled egg.
That was like something I did to like get rid of the overabundance of eggs I had piling up from my.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, your chickens.
From my Kardashian hens. They're like I had 14. My Kardashian hens. Oh my God. I love them. I have one breed. She's an Americana. So they actually lay blue eggs. Have you ever tried blue eggs before?
I've never tried blue eggs.
Wow. I need to come and give you one of like my arrays of chicken eggs.
Okay.
But they have like blue to like greenish colored eggs. And
interesting.
They have like this beard. So they had feathers. She has feathers on like the side of her face that make me think of a beard. So and she's brown. So her name's like Chick Baka. Oh. And then I had another one. She was Princess Leia. She was a white one.
I like that. Huh.
She looked like a stormtrooper to me. She was white, had like black.
Oh wow.
So I love my chicken. My chicken.
Your Kardashian.
My Kardashian hens.
That's so funny. I want to talk about this interesting fact. So you actually have 2 restaurants in Japan. Kuromata
Kumamoto.
Kumamoto, Japan. And they're named after you.
Yes.
So Aolani Diner and then Aolani Park. How did that come about?
That is a huge honor. My mom's side of the family comes from Kumamoto, Japan, which is more of the countryside, closer to the volcano.
Wow.
In Japan. And like my family there, Uncle Taro and Shoichi. Shoichi is like my mom's cousin, I believe. And Taro-san, or my uncle Taro, he works with restaurants in Japan, and he knows that business, and he has always been so very supportive of me singing Japanese. I actually do not speak Japanese. And I will get on it. I'm using my Duolingo and Rosetta Stone, but I've learned it all from just by ear.
Oh, okay.
And like mimicking like pronunciation.
Really?
So, and to have
Pretty skilled, actually. I gotta admit, because
well, him supporting me helped me feel a lot more confident with it too, because I was doing it right, I guess, to earn the respect, and then I also loved sharing about Hawaii, and they also loved Hawaii, and I'm hoping to be able to meet them here one day, and then also go up to Kumamoto. The restaurant that they opened up was inspired by sharing the Aloha spirit, and I love to share cultures and bridge that with music, and they were able to do that with food.
Oh,
and
cultural again, right?
The cultural, because like, you know, we love Japan and Japan loves Hawaii.
Yeah.
So
And we love food.
We love food, and Japan's
they
food.
love food.
We love them totally. And my uncle created this wonderful place where he wanted it to be a piece of paradise for people in Japan, and where a place that you could kind of feel like you're in Hawaii. So you'd come in, it feels like this like ohana, an aloha spirit. Like everybody is part of your family when you go there. He even had a stage for the first place that was open. Is actually originally called Aolani Bar and Grill.
Oh, okay.
And that one had like just this incredible place. It was in an indoor mall, an indoor-outdoor mall, kind of like Ala Moana.
Okay.
And he would have like halaus in Japan come and dance there.
On the stage.
Well, this one, I don't think it had a stage. It was in this indoor place, but they would still come. Like, it would have a hula dancer in between like the seats.
Oh, interesting.
And it was Hawaii-inspired food. So it had spam fries, their take on like our version of their bentos, because you know, our local style with a bunch of different foods, and they had loco moco inspired foods.
Oh, nice.
And they would ask my family and I, like, what are our favorite foods here in Hawaii, and then make that up there. And they had like Hawaiian like beer too, like local beer.
Really? Wow, that's cool.
I wish we got to go up, but right when they opened, it was right when COVID started.
Oh.
It was in the heat of that.
Dang.
And we were going to go up for their opening, the opening of the restaurant, but everything got shut down. The borders were all crazy. We're like, there's no way we can travel. And then there was that fear of going somewhere and being stuck there. So we ended up having to cancel that out of precautions. It was like literally like 2 weeks away from the trip we were gonna go.
Okay.
To support them.
That's crazy.
Yes, I wanted to still show support from Hawaii. So my friend and I, Elvis Imamura, he and I, we met from Brown Bags to Stardom.
Oh, cool.
He's an incredible guitarist, actually multi-instrumentalist. He helped me write a song for them as a jingle, as our way of supporting them from Hawaii. And that's called Aolani A. And it's like we wanted to share like their mission, which is like warm hospitality. Hawaii is calling me. And I hear an ocean breeze and swaying of coconut trees. That's some of the lyrics. And he helped me. Like, he produced, like, played the instruments for that song, and we sent that up there. That was a way of our support.
Support, yeah.
And because of the shutdown in Japan, is very good at following the rules, which is, like, great because people really, like, listen.
Yeah.
mall was shut down, even though it was an indoor-outdoor mall. So I don't think they could have access to it. So they opened another location on the side of like a street. And that one was the Aolani Parlor, which is now more of like, their goal was like this cafe style. And it's beautiful. Like I wish I could eat the food because their Instagram posts were so yummy and everything was beautiful. It looked so like incredible. That one had a stage.
Oh, okay.
Like specifically so like halals could come and they would dance.
Or they're waiting for you to sing.
Or they're waiting for one day. But like really the hula and the community, like that was such a fun place. But it was more of like the experience. With COVID, nobody really was like sticking around. So business was very, very kind of hard. Everybody was at home. So they started doing like like Uber Eats basically.
Yeah.
And like making like bentos and sending that out. But it really was the whole experience that was, so it was hard for the business. It was kind of struggling. And eventually my Uncle Taro, right now, like Aolani Parlor is closed. He found another way to use it. So right now it's being used as a kitchen for his new restaurant called Ringado, which is candied apples.
Oh.
And that has absolutely exploded. In Japan. They're doing so fabulous and it's growing really fast. And he just like used the kitchen from Aolani Parlor, cooked like these candied apples, and then it surprised him how like they were sold out so fast because people could grab them and go.
Yeah.
And they're so yummy looking and they like have this drizzle and the apples there are like super big and super sweet. So right now it's Ringado, and unfortunately Aolani Parlor and the other location is closed down, but we're hoping there's possible in the future a way to maybe bring it back and bring that maybe like some like maybe one day in Hawaii we're talking. It'd be amazing to share that here.
Or Aolani apples right
Or
there.
Aolani apples. But the Ringado apples, they're amazing. Like, I just wish I could go right now and try them because it's so, like, they're so, like, juicy looking.
Well, luckily, I mean, like, my voice cracked a little bit. Luckily, like, in Japan right now, a lot of things have opened up, especially because of they dropped the mask mandate. I think that was March 15th of this year. But, you know, now, I mean, Japan is a great time. It's a great time to go now.
Yes.
And it's funny because like I go on my Instagram and there's tons of people in Japan right now. Like I'm just scrolling,
right?
And they're like, "Ooh, look at these cherry blossoms over here. Like, ooh, look at the wonderful food I'm eating in Japan." And I'm like, I'm still here in Hawaii. Thanks a lot, you know.
Eat for me. Eat extra for me, please.
Yeah, it's like, oh, great. Hope you enjoy that dollar sushi. Well, I'm enjoying my Genkis over here.
We just ate Genki.
Oh, for real?
I love Genki.
But yeah, it's like that's it. But it's good. It's good that, you know, Japan's open up now. And,
Yes.
And, you know, hopefully, Aolani Diner or Aolani Parlor, you know, they can expand that maybe to Hawaii or maybe even open another shop or something. So.
But I'm honored to have like I've never thought ever that it would be a possibility for my name to be a restaurant. It's a huge honor, and I'm super like just happy that I was able to like have that, and it is possible it could come back, but right now taking a break from it, and like still that's wild to me. Like I had a restaurant, and after I was, what do I do with this? I was just singing. It's been amazing, and I really miss my family. So shout out to my family in Kumamoto. Yeah,
shout outs. Honestly, it rolls off the tongue because like Aolani Parlor, like think Gavin Parlor. That just sounds weird to be honest. or Gavin Diner. I don't want anybody doing that. I don't want to see that. I'm not even gonna associate with that.
But what kind of food do you think of, Gavin?
I mean, just local mocos and chicken katsu.
Chicken katsu.
Maybe some sushi. What else would I put in there?
What's Gavin's top?
I would say chicken katsu.
Yes.
Right? That's my top. Like, I grade every place, like every Japanese restaurant based on their chicken katsu alone.
So like the crisp and then the sauce. And
they have to have the good consistency with the because like honestly, my wife makes really good chinkatsu,
Ooh, highest compliment.
but like, like I go to places that I'm like, okay, I don't know if the chicken's like good here. I don't want to say which ones I'm thinking of, but like the breading is a little off. You know what I mean? So like, I'll grade it that way, and then if they don't have chinkatsu, I'll grade their lokomoko instead. Just because I think it's super easy to make. Like both of those dishes are super easy, but and then sushi is just something I just love sushi. I don't know.
Sushi too.
Yeah. Honestly, my go-to is Sushi Bay, of course.
Yes. Their pieces are so big.
The pieces are so big. The rice is like this much. The fish is like this much.
It's so worth it.
Yeah, it's so worth it. And then we like going kuru-kuru. Yeah, kuru-kuru sushi. Specifically Kahala. That's specifically Kahala. Not Pearl City, but Kahala. I like Kahala's one. So.
I need to go check that place out. Yeah. I don't think I've been there yet.
They're like equivalent to. They're not. Their pieces are not as big as like Sushi Bay, but I think quality wise it's equivalent.
Yeah. We're checking that out after this. Mom, remember that place.
Kuru sushi. Yeah, you can go to the Pro City one. I mean, that one is good too. It just gets really busy, and then the parking is kind of junk sometimes. But Kahala Mall, I mean, honestly, it's right there. Just go to. I'm promoting these guys right now. It's funny.
Yes.
Go. You just basically, it's right next to the theater.
Okay.
At Kahala Mall. So.
I have to say, regarding lokomoko, my mom makes a pretty mean lokomoko.
Okay.
And I now have another reason to give you eggs. You haven't seen blue ones, and you need to try like fresh eggs.
Okay.
On that, I think
lokomoko.
It is different, and I think it's better personally. Maybe I'm biased because they're my chickens, but my mom makes it so yummy. Or like I don't know what she puts in it. I guess a lot of love, but it is so delicious. And now I got to give you eggs. For sure.
Definitely. Thank you. I appreciate it. Blue eggs with lokomoko. Oh, I never thought about that.
The shell, the egg part, it looks like regular egg, but the shell is blue.
The shell is blue. I can't imagine that, actually.
I know, it sounds crazy.
That sounds crazy.
That's why I had to see it for myself. I was like, I'll get this breed. Let me see what's going on here.
Yeah. Or I could do a true green eggs and ham kind of thing.
Yes.
Green eggs.
We have, like, there's an olive egger breed of chicken that has, like, green eggs.
Really?
But the eggs aren't green. It's like the inside should look like egg.
All right. This is the shell.
If it looks like any other color, then maybe you shouldn't try that one. As long as the outside shell is like a different color, that's cool. Like we have kukumarans. They have like chocolate brown eggs, so like super dark brown eggs.
Really?
Like, and like they're all speckled and stuff. They're really pretty. People need to learn.
Not chocolate though.
Not chocolate.
There's not chocolate in those eggs.
Yeah, don't make that mistake. It's not the best move.
So, changing topics a little bit, I want to go into like other things that you want to pursue. So like acting and modeling for yourself. What's something you're pursuing now?
First and foremost, I've really found out that songwriting is super near and dear to my heart and something I want to continue for the rest of my life as the solid foundation. Songwriting and singing. I'm working on an album right now.
Oh.
So Tides is actually a part of that. I'm going towards like an 8-song album.
Oh, cool.
And I'm working on another single release very soon. I'm gonna just hint that they're really fast. But
I think I know what you're talking about.
I think you do. I did sing it at one of our Hawaii content creator events.
And then I also listened to some of the stuff.
Oh yes, I totally. Okay,
you're rapping. We gotta talk about your rapping.
I was rapping. I'm a rapper, and
it's pretty good too. Actually, not bad.
Gavin caught my friends and I in a parking lot after one of our Hawaii content creator events at Shaka Ramen. Shout out to them because they have delicious ramen and it's such a fun place to hang out as well. After that, I was like, I have these new songs I need to share with my friends. And I cannot share songs without being in a car now. Like, I feel like, if I share it on my phone, it just doesn't do justice. So I find myself like, okay, everybody, can you just cram in the nearest car that has Bluetooth? Please, it'll be worth it. I just have like a few songs. I had like 6 songs to share. He comes out. It's like 12 at night.
12 at night. And I was literally just about to go home. And then I hear a faint, like, oh, bye. And I was wondering if that was like someone from another car. I was like, oh, okay. And then I turned and I see them. I was like, oh, bye. I was like, wait, what are you guys doing here? And then we basically just listened to music in the parking lot.
It was like
12 in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah.
And this is was that IAEA?
Yeah.
IAEA parking lot. And he stayed and listened to some of the music I'm working for towards Sync, which is something I learned through this amazing program. I was honored to be a part of the Creative Lab Music Immersive.
Oh, yes.
I just recently traveled to the Big Island. I guess last month. Time goes by so fast.
Just so quickly, yeah.
But like that has changed my my life really. It was a huge pivotal point for me to really understand like how I can continue in this industry, because the entertainment industry is so big, and initially I was just thinking, oh, I want to be an artist and sing, but there's so many ways to be involved, and I'm learning these new like careers in singing and in the industry, and I'm just so blessed to have learned how to like jump into songwriting, because I would have never thought I would be songwriting. Just like if you asked me last year, like 17-year-old Aolani, I would be like, there's no way I'm like writing to the degree I'm doing now. Maybe like my personal song, I'd take like that time to write that, but I've now found myself being able to write like one song a day with a group.
Crazy.
Collabing with other incredible like writers in Hawaii and even in the mainland to create songs specifically for film, ads, and television. So the music you hear in your favorite TV show, and ads, and even like a little 5-second TikTok, all of that is its own industry, and I'm learning about that and how to navigate for that. So right now, that's my biggest goal is continuing to write music. Right now, sync is pretty high in my priority, and then writing for my artist, like Aolani, releasing music for me, and then I'm always like down and to learn about other things and continue keeping myself open to a bunch of different things to try out. Because I found that helps my songwriting best too. I can only write from what I know, and as much life experience as I can get, it only adds to like the creative flow. So I also I'm really passionate about like sustainability. Another dream of mine is to somehow have a ranch here in Hawaii.
Oh, totally possible, I think.
I seeing the community in Waianae with food drives and how it's pretty scary. We're how much we depend on shipping, and there is not enough food on this island to keep us well and alive if everything was cut off. So understanding that now and trying to help see how we can change that, whether it's like having, I don't know, like a small potted plant that can be like basil, or any way that you can help yourself be providing for yourself in that manner. I like to become as much like as food sustainable and self-sufficient as possible. So like a ranch somewhere is my goal. But right now, definitely singing and songwriting is the biggest thing for me. And I love acting and like modeling too. And like just today, I was able to work with like Brad Studio. I think it's with Brad, and we just shot something for the Honolulu Cookie Company.
I'm sorry.
You're totally good. You're totally good. I have a cough too. Like when we.
I know. What the heck is going on right now?
It's okay. Just like I'm pretty open to, because I'm not doing the same college route, but learning and being thrown into the situation of actually working and figuring out how to continue is like World College to me. I keep calling it World College. So even opportunities like this, learning from people like you who just talk story and share your life experiences, I can see how.
I'm okay. But thank you.
It helps. It really does.
But yeah, I mean, you're going into so many different avenues, which is it's amazing because like you were saying about.
Bless you.
Sorry for everyone that's listening to this. Like sustainability, and then totally believe like what you were saying because Hawaii is really reliant on outsourcing a lot of jobs, even tourism. We rely heavily on outside sources to really bring in income and economy here in Hawaii. When it wasn't like that all the time, we used to have like sugar canes, and we used to be able to be a major producer of pineapple or other indigenous plants or fish even. But now we import a lot, and not outsourcing. We import so much now that it's kind of scary because if the trade routes are cut off,
what do we do?
we're screwed.
And it's kind of crazy how like disconnected we are from how like where food actually comes from, and then like I do personally too. Like I'm used to wanting things now, so I'm hungry. I can go and get this, but we don't realize like it comes from somewhere. Everything's so easily accessible, and that's great. But like that's because we're just we're relying on that.
Yeah.
And I think it should scare people a little more to really sit down and understand like we are stuck in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
We can't just drive to the next island and do anything about that. And like there's a lot of construction, going on our island already. And I hope to just solidify a ranch.
Yeah.
I want to open it up to the community, have a community garden. I don't know if it'd be fun at the time, but they would learn and plant the seed, if you will, of like caring for your community, have a few field trips there.
Yeah.
Come and like learn about plants, and maybe you can harvest some fruits. And even if we could have like cattle here on Oahu, I think I would like to have that. It's a goal of mine. It's kind of tough though, especially wanting it on Oahu right now because everything's so expensive.
Yeah.
And like actually getting land in Oahu almost seems impossible, especially for like locals.
Yeah.
And so now I'm finding myself like I'm blessed to have a family that allows me to like live with them, and that's like our local culture too.
You can bring chickens home.
And I bring chickens home. I would hope that way I'll provide eggs.
But yeah, I think Hawaii is in a transition phase. Especially, I talked about this on another episode, but kind of in like an identity crisis a little bit.
Yeah, that's
kind of like a midlife crisis. Hawaii is because like it's going through this sustainable. It wants to be sustainable, but it takes away from certain things. Coal mines being shut down.
Yeah,
jacks up the electricity prices. There's just so many factors like housing, people just struggling to live here.
Yep.
So it goes through transitional phase, and I think that's funny. That's probably going to be like a question in a pageant thing, like, oh, what do you think about Hawaii? And you're like, oh, now you got to explain that, But I'd say like Hawaii in itself, the best way I can think of it is it's going through a midlife crisis. That's how I would think.
Yep.
And I think that's okay because with that comes better things in the future, especially if Hawaii can go and say like, okay, we've invested so much into this one wineskin. I'm going to say wineskin for people that may know what I'm talking about, right? But they've expired that wineskin and they have to go and invest into another wineskin, right? So then they have to transfer that and be like, okay, we've gained everything we can from here. Now we got to go into something different, and that's that transitional phase.
It feels like a huge jump for us.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like you said, the main one is tourism.
Yeah.
As an entertainer, I've relied heavily on that. Especially, I was doing it in Ala Moana.
Right.
That's like the hub.
Yep.
And I I enjoyed being able to have that platform. I wanted to use that to share more about like our genuine culture, not just what's being pushed, I guess Hollywood's view of Hawaii, if you will. To share, I use that as a platform to share more about like our genuine aloha spirit. Like it's not just like it actually means so much more than just like, oh, love everybody. It's so much more deep rooted in that, and our culture is beautiful, and is so like it's so strong, and people who really feel that, like, and islanders who understand like the true meaning of like aloha and these words that they're created for, like it's hard to so I've heard people say that like aloha like doesn't exist anymore, and it does exist. We have to be the aloha we see in the world. It sounds cliche, but everyone I think has it in them, and it's like the mutual respect and understanding of each other, and just like being selflessly helpful, but not wanting things in return, but still being strong in what you need and want for yourself. I know it sounds like so many different things, but it's so much more than just like, oh, it's this spirit, and we have something special in Hawaii, a community that is still much more connected than other places in the world. And I think we have hope. And people say with resistance comes like a breakthrough. Yeah. So if hopefully this midlife crisis that we're going in through, it feels tough now, but I'm hoping, praying that it's going into like it'll break through and just create bigger and better things for people in Hawaii, and to share the beauty of like us to the world, and have Hawaii people just thrive.
Yeah, definitely. I think talking briefly about aloha, I hear that too, like aloha spirit is dead, or there's not a lot of aloha. My dad wrote a book on well, he didn't write a book, but he had an excerpt in it about the aloha spirit, and the book was called the Aloha Book. Right? A bunch of
oh, that's interesting. Wait, may I ask what's your dad's
Brad
name?
Sugai.
Brad Sugai. Wow.
I've
heard about this book.
Okay. Oh, good. The first person that I heard about it.
I think, Mama, did my auntie Leslie also had a little excerpt in the book as well.
Oh,
that's
cool.
Really cool. Not many people know about it, so to hear somebody say it.
Yeah, my dad, he was partnered with someone else. They went to promote the book, try to get it to other schools and everything, but he has an excerpt in there about the Holy Spirit being a law, right? It really pushed that. But and it's embedded in our culture, like here in Hawaii, because it's not just a law, but it's a way of living. And for me, I think aloha is basically about sharing.
Yes.
And that could be sharing greetings or affections to other people, or being able to share food or share resources. I think that's aloha. You know what I mean? And giving someone a lei, that's showing aloha, right? Yes. But that's sharing. So I think that the aloha spirit still stands. It's just that we don't think of it that way. But when we share things, that's where we're showing
it's in
aloha.
Action. That's the aloha spirit in action.
Yeah.
Yes. The living it, and really being like the just kindness and the love, like that is the aloha spirit. It exists. We still have it, and it's alive and well. And if you don't feel it, maybe start being someone to create it. Like if you aren't feeling something if you have an idea of what it's supposed to feel like, try to be that. Because I think we need to just keep being empathetic towards one another, because we're all not that different from each other. Humans and everything. Yeah. Humans and everything. That's fine.
But yeah, we're a lot of us are the same in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like we relate in many ways. We're very different, but it's just we have a common thing, like with aloha, or even existing in this world. Yes. You know what I mean? So I think it's a great thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, we got to be the aloha. We got to be the one to share. So
Yes, and another way with being like doing like living with aloha is like our indigenous people too. I have to say, like, we have this way of valuing our land because we know how important it is to live off of it. Like for us, we did rely on our ahupua'as, and we understood that this is our life, like source,
Very
our
true.
food. And as a community working towards that, we understand like we are not living on our own, and we can't just like make this. We need togetherness to have this happen, and like just having that I want to like remind other people like how Hawaiians used to do it before, like with sustainability. They would have wanted to have control over their food, and ultimately because food controls like people and like their families. That's what we're all working so hard to do, make money so we can like feed ourselves and survive. And it goes back to that though. Just being there and like trading. Hey, I have taro. Can you give me some fish? That's just the humans.
Yeah, the sharing part. Well, Aolani, thank you for sharing your aloha by sharing with us, and
Thank you so
really
much.
appreciate you coming on the show and talking to us and sharing your story. And you have anything you want to shout out, or you want to give a shout out to your social medias and how people can follow you and get connected?
Thank you so much. I mean, this is my first podcast. I'm like nervous too because I'm like I've seen so many, and like I've watched yours many times, and I'm just like, it just looks so cool. And to be able to share and speak freely, it's different, and this is a new like space for me to learn and grow in. And I thank you for reaching out and letting me share my story as well. And please follow me on my social medias. For Instagram, it's Aloha Aolani, and mine is an Aolani with an O, so Aolani. Close to the Disney, but itty bitty tiny difference.
Oh, that's true. I never thought about that.
And there is I'm working on building my YouTube, but you can just search up Aolani Yukie Silva. Yukie is my middle name. Same thing, Aolani, and then Yukie, and then Silva, Silva. Very Portuguese.
Yeah. And we'll definitely leave it in the video as well. So definitely. But once again, Aolani, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
As a custom, we always do a cheers at the end. So good thing you still have water because I'm like at the very end. Aolani, this is to you, and this is to your new album that you're gonna be producing and showing and sharing, and this is to songwriting and everything you're gonna be doing in the future, because the future is bright for yourself. So
thank you, and then to your health.
Thank you.
To health. I can finally say what they do in movies, because you pushed through today, and he really did. Like, he's not like feeling the best, and you're still here and being so like awesome. But to health.
To health.
Thank you so much.
Or Kampai.
Kampai.